If you're anything like us, then money is a limited resource and you have to think wisely about how you spend your money. Previously, we talked about how we like to keep our expenses relatively lean. Today, we would like to dive deeper into 3 things that we make a conscious decision to spend less money on for a couple of reasons. The first is, of course, to save money. And the second is with the goal of leaving a lighter footprint on the planet. So if you're interested in saving a bit of money while being a more intentional citizen on Earth at the same time, then watch on to find out why you may also want to consider spending less on these 3 things. The first thing that we want to talk about is our phones. I don't think it would be an understatement to say that our phones have become an indispensable item in our lives. But if there's one category of products where we are constantly being sold upgrades that we don't need, and where planned obsolescence is rampant, then it would be in the consumer electronics space, and in particular, the world of smartphones. Every year, new models of phones and all kinds of other gadgets are released, shinier and more innovative than generations before. And as we consumers sweep the shelves of the new tech, the old tech inevitably have to go into the bin. The amount of electronic waste the world has generated has increased by more than 20% in the last 5 years. In the year 2020, we generated more than 50 million metric tons of e-waste. While there are trade-in and recycling programs, the reality is that only 10 to 20% of e-waste actually gets recycled. As much as I love technology, it's an area that we find hard to justify spending too much money on. And to not spend too much money, just like with anything else, the first step is to take better care of our stuff and shop only when there's a need to. Technology moves fast, so there will always be something newer and greater on the horizon. But the improvements to smartphones year over year have become marginal. Our old, scratched up devices are often just as capable as the new products being released. Our rule of thumb is that if our current device is not making us curse frequently, then it's probably not yet time for an upgrade. While we agree with the saying that if you buy cheap, you buy twice, planned obsolescence in tech means that you may still have to buy more than once even if you buy expensive. Smartphones are unfortunately not buy-it-for-life items, which is why we think it makes sense to go for bang for buck over quality if you want to save more money. More budget-friendly models may lack the street cred or prestige of the top-of-the-line products on the market, but for most users' needs, they are much better value. But no matter what your choice is, always try to use the device for as long as you possibly can before chucking it into the bin. Consumers' quality of life has risen over the years, but along with that, so has our energy consumption. About 20 to 30% of the world's energy use is consumed at home by folks like you and me. About half of the energy is spent on just air conditioning or space heating and water heating alone. Air conditioning and space heating make our lives more comfortable and convenient, and there are instances where they are a necessity. So we're not saying the problem is that we use them, but we may have a problem in that we sometimes use them lavishly. We would all love to have ideal conditions at home all the time. No matter if the weather outside is a sweltering 35 degrees or a chilly 5 degrees, being able to afford walking into a home that's at a perfect 20 degrees is a modern comfort that has become a norm, an expectation for many of us. With a simple press of a button, it's easy to forget, at least momentarily, that Earth is indeed heating up. The more energy we consume to keep ourselves comfortable today, the more Earth is going to heat up, which means we'll have to spend even more energy in the future to keep ourselves comfortable. It's a perpetual vicious cycle. Of all the ways that we are consuming energy, we can't think of many that are more inefficient yet easy to change than how we choose to cool or heat our homes. If you've watched our video about our monthly expenses, you would know that we are pretty cheap with our utilities. Our electricity bill, for example, is about $15 to $20 a month, and that's from staying at home all day, almost every day. We've had comments asking, how do we keep our electricity bills at less than $20 a month in hot and humid Singapore? The answer is quite simple. we almost never turn on the air conditioning, and we certainly don't have to worry about space heating. And it's not like we are exceptionally tolerant of the heat and humidity here. In fact, I complain about the weather more than anyone else. But over the years, we've gradually unlearned old habits and readjusted our expectations. Of course, it would be unreasonable to suggest that we all stop using air conditioning and space heating completely. And that's not at all what we're suggesting. The solution doesn't have to be binary. Setting the thermostat 1 degree higher in the summer or 1 degree lower in the winter, that would already be a great start. Acclimatizing and getting comfortable with less will not only be gentler on our wallets, it'll also be gentler on the planet. The third point that we want to talk about is probably one that you could see coming from a mile away, and that's clothing. Fashion production alone accounts for up to 10% of all greenhouse gases emitted by human activity. As consumers' purchasing power increased, we are buying more clothes than we can wear, discarding clothes that we have barely worn to make way for new ones. The average number of times a piece of garment is worn before it's thrown away has decreased by 36% compared to 15 years ago. And as we declutter, we send bags and bags of clothes for recycling or to thrift stores. But recycling companies and thrift stores aren't able to keep up, so more than 85% of the clothes that we thought were getting a second life end up going into incinerators or landfills anyway. Personally, as we got older and more assured with regard to how we would like to dress, we saw less and less of a need to shop for clothes. Or maybe we have just come to accept that no amount of outfitting was going to make us stylish. And when we do shop, we are oblivious to the trends, and we pick styles that are more simple and timeless, stuff that we shouldn't be embarrassed to wear even 10-15 years down the road. We're not great at DIY, but we also try to give old clothing a new lease of life, like turning old baggy sweatpants into comfortable shorts for lounging, or turning old t-shirts with worn-out sleeves into sleeveless tees that we wear for our workouts.
If you have ideas on upcycling your old clothes, but like us, you lack the skills and expertise to turn those ideas into reality, then perhaps Skillshare, our sponsor for this video, can help. Skillshare is an online learning community that's always launching new premium classes on all kinds of creative skills. The ability to sew, repair, and upcycle our old clothes is one skill that we've been wanting to pick up for some time now. If you're looking to do the same, we recommend the class Sewing Basics by Denise Byron. I have never worked a sewing machine before, but the class made it seem a little less intimidating and made me want to try my hand at it. The first 1,000 of you to click the link in the description will get a free 1-month trial of Skillshare, so start exploring your creativity today.
And that's 3 things to consider spending less money on. What are your thoughts? Maybe you're a tech lover, a fashionista, or someone who's picky about the temperature at home, and our suggestions are completely out of the question. We'll completely understand. Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you again next time.